Sa? Kaya to? Nato lang. Sige, you can start now. Oh, ano yun? Ako, nag-introduce ka nila ilang. Uy!
Good evening, all panelists. We are here in front on you to virtually to propose our title proposal and prototype and methodology. We are the group of Albijor, Pinan Miss Alaban, Mr. Bilio, and Mr. Jose, and me, Mr. Arnie Criponte. So we are go now to the next page.
Okay, ma'am and sir, as we jump into the first, which is introduction,
This is the table of content our one. RiceSources. Number 1 is introduction. Number 2 is statement of the problem. Number 3, objective of the study. Number 4 is scope and limitation. Number 5 is project and design and methodology. Next page is
pardon ma'am and sir, we forgot the introduce to you our title proposal, RiceSources, a mobile irrigation system with scheduler using IoT. And we are heading now to the introduction, the table of contents number 1.
the introduction is Davao de Oro was one of the region leading agricultural players. 30.15% on the region lands area is agricultural and mostly grow rice, corn, and bananas. Sweep 1 irrigation in Puro Pres, Linoan, Montevista, Davao de Oro, most farmers depend on Sweep 1 Linoan irrigation to water their rice field and guarantee excellent crop output. 15 to 55 hectares during the rainy season can be covered by Sweep 1 irrigation. Less than 15% hectares during dry season, the Sweep 1 irrigation can watering rice farm. Sweep 1 irrigation can only depend on raindrops during rainy season, allowing into store water. Sweep is small water impounding project awarded by Department of Agriculture to help the rice crop production of every farmers. IoT, Internet of Things, is one of the fourth generation industrial revolution. It is the best recommended for adapting the development of the agricultural sector since the world has a vastly approaching digital transformation.
Ma'am and sir, as you can see in the screen, this is Mr. Joel Hara, the president of Sweep 1 Linuan Irrigation Association. He is also our client for our conducting interview last time, and we proposed this system, and all of the survey we've cope up is uh, a reason for feasible the proposal or proposed title.
And to find what is the problem in that area or in that association.
And we are heading now to the statement of the problem.
Number 2.
Table of contents number 2. As you can see, we put a picture in the right side as a proof of evidence that we've conducted a survey.
An interview.
So we are now in the first three major problems of the statement of the problem, which is no proper scheduling of irrigation to the rice farms. And also, as you can see in the right side, we put the exact or the survey questionnaire answerable by yes or no, and and
And to gather this problem, we make a survey and interview to the client that in that irrigation. So we came up to the problems that no proper scheduling of irrigation to the rice farms because it will we collect the problem based on the conducted interview. So to make this problem to be
visible.
feasible,
Um, as you can see, ma'am, the first survey questionnaire answerable by yes or no was, do you set a schedule for irrigating the rice fields? And Mr.
Sige daw. Ay,
Ma'am, answer, are we audible, ma'am? Ma'am, answer, are we
Yes,
audible?
yes, you may,
Okay, ma'am, answer,
you may
can we proceed?
audible. You may continue now. Yes.
Okay, okay, sir. Um, as I repeat, ma'am and sir, we conducted a survey questionnaire answerable by yes or no to know the major problems of the statement the problems. The first is, do you set a schedule for irrigating the rice fields? And it said yes. They put a yes, so the answer is yes. And apparently, the no proper scheduling was headed by on it was because the set of schedule of irrigating rice fields was also a verbally, and also it can follows the, do you use a verbal setting for schedules of for irrigating the rice fields? And also the answered by yes. And also,
we
do you
use
use
a
a piece of paper
to
to write the schedule for irrigation? And they said yes, answerable by yes or no again. And also, the fourth one is, do you use a mobile cell phone to save the schedule for irrigating the rice fields? And it said no. And also, the lastly, do you have a time duration for the irrigation? And it said yes. But in the term that no proper scheduling for irrigation is it is because they've used a piece of paper, and the paper could be torn or
and
loose.
lost by
Yes, like that.
doing by managing for the water master that list it.
And also, ma'am and sir, we've interviewed Mr. Rex Alboroto, which is the water master, and he said for proper scheduling was not implemented. Is there they have a scheduling but not proper? I mean, not proper. It is because they've used a verbal setting for that.
And also the farmers will come to the association or come to list I come to schedule their irrigate their
the rice fields.
rice
And
field to irrigate.
yes, and the other was also go to the what call this water master, and to ask that he he could set a schedule, and it could be conflict about the two parties of the I mean the two parties of the farmers. And that's why by the use of this proper scheduling, and it set the scheduling. It bases the application that they have used the scheduling as a proper way, and also for the fairness of the um, association. For the use of the fairness of the association, particularly for the watering to the farmers, and also the second third the second major problems.
Difficulty in monitoring the water level of the dam.
Okay, ma'am and sir, difficulty means there is a difficult to find if what was the water level status of the dam.
Dam.
And as you can see in the right side, in our interview, do you have a tool to measure the water level of the dam? And Mr. Joel B. Hara said the president was no. Uh, Firmly, he said no because they know that if no if not enough water to sustain the
Rice field.
rice field, the gateway and the water would not level to would not level to the gateway or gate mouth in the passageway of the irrigation, manual irrigation.
Irrigation going to farmers or area.
And also the second, the third one is
No equal distribution of water supply to rice farms. So this problem will be collected by doing our interview to the clients that every farmers that schedule by that association has no equal distribution of water because it is because there is no
not enough water.
Enough. Support.
Okay. No equal distribution of water supply to rice farms. As you see, in the left side, survey questionnaire answerable by yes or no again. Do you have a tool to measure the cubic of water goes out from the dam? And Mr. Joel Bihara, the SWIP 1 president, was answered no, and it is because uh, no they have a they no have a tool to measure the capacity
Of the
of
water.
the rice fields. It could take in 1 hectare, it could take 3 days to be irrigated of the water. And also the dam distribution was rely on also uh, in the water of the dam, and also um, in the distribution when the season was about.
drought season.
Yes, in the drought season,
There
it
is
could.
not enough to
Water.
water the covered area by that irrigation.
And if you could ask, uh, the 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 sweep one in one, it can cover a 15 to 55 hectares along the area, in the area at Proctres, Linuan, Montevista, Davao de Oro. And if there is a plenty of water, it could take uh, 15 hectares to sustain the rice fields. And also, if the dry season uh, if the dry season appeared or appearance, it could be less than 15 hectares
to
to be supplied or to be to consume a water. And also no equal distribution of water, and by the problem of the human, there are a human, there is a person, or the farmers asked a water distribution for the irrigation. It is because the plant it is because they've used land preparation for that uh, situation. And as we the proponent, it could be feasible, it could be firmly feasible to us as a we have a solution for the SOP, or for that problem, for that problems. And
So the third, the table of contents is number 3, our objective of the study.
our objectives of the study, and it would sort or set the corresponding number on what was the number of it. And as you can see, ma'am and sir, in the right side, we've take a photo as a approval for our objectives of the study, and as feasible. And we can jump into the next one.
So the first objectives that to solve the problem is to develop a system that can create a watering schedule for rice fields.
And this is corresponding to the problem that no proper scheduling, ma'am and sir. And uh, as we are the proponent, we firmly believe that this is feasible to hit our objectives, to solve the statement of the problems.
Because in these objectives to develop a system, so we need a application that will that will that will encode the requested schedule of the farmers, and it is case to case basis. So for the farmers who request for scheduling, the farmers will set a time.
Uh, the farmers, the master who views the application would say would set the name of the farmers who set the irrigation, the area of the farmer, if what was the exact area of the farmer, and also the start time, also the start day, and the end day, and also this the start time, which is started, and also the end time. And that's why this is firmly feasible. And as you can see, in the next chapter, our prototype for this. And the number 2 is
To develop a system that can monitor the dam's water level. So in these objectives, this will solve the problem into the number 2, that difficult to monitor the dam's water level. So in these objectives, develop a system that can monitor the dam's water level. So if to develop the system, we make a sensor that can built into the dams.
I mean the miniature, the little miniature. We wanted to create a little miniature. If you could approve us to the next one. We develop a ultrasonic sensor which have a 3 level of the status, which is
The high, normal, or low
low.
of water level.
And by the use of the application, the water master can measure by the use of the button, by the clicking of the button, he can measure the actual level of the dam, or the status of the water on the dam. And also this is a feasible to our for hitting our second problem, which is the difficulty to monitoring the water level of the dam, because the dam was taas, I mean high, and and slightly bakilid siya, ma'am. I mean matirik po siya, ma'am, tas hindi po siya makikita ng ganon-ganon basta-basta lang na pupunta ka sa baba, dahil napakatirik ng ano.
It also big help to the association to make this in this system that can be easy to monitor using these objectives, because it can only use of smartphone that can monitor the water level, and it cannot go to the dam's water level to see what is the status
Of the water on the dam. Yes, ma'am. So we can jump into the last problem to solve. To develop a system that can measure the paddy area's consumption of water.
in these objectives can solve the problems of the association that no equal distribution of water to the rice farms. And because in this system will measure the water flow of the dams that go on that the water flow of the dam, because in this system we create a device that
Can measure the flow rate of the water goes to the what specific block, to block, for block as a rice fields that requested by the farmers. And also, if you could ask what is the device we've used for this, we've used the device named water flow rate sensor, device to measure, to rate, or to measure the output water. And that is why this study solved the problem number 3, which is the no equal distribution of water consumption. And we are now in the next one, the
so
scope and limitation, and by doing Miss Alaban.
We are
Okay.
leading.
Okay. So, uh, we will cut you off because we will focus first on the madunggan ninyong klaro akong tingog.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
I listen.
Clearly heard. Okay, so because we need to check first the objective, the problems, kay ang mahitabo man good if mali ang problema or if there's something wrong with the problem, so there's a possible a change of the title, no? Because the
Yes, sir.
scope and limitations will occur if your title is already good and you already understand what is your problem is all about. Yun yung effect ng if you have a good problem, so dali na lang, the objective will follow and the scope of limitation also will follow in the other areas of your documents. So what we're going to do now is we will focus on your statement of problem.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
So can we go back to the first statement of the problem, please?
Yes, sir. Here's the
Okay,
output.
so So you mentioned here that there is no proper scheduling of irrigation to the
Farms.
rice farm.
Yes, sir.
So when we say, because as far as I know kasi, if correct me if I'm wrong, scheduling kasi happens nga kabalo na sila for how many years. The Department of Agriculture, kung asa man ni siya ninyo na ma-assign, kay kabalo na sila unsa ang schedule, no, sa inyong sa ni sa pag sa ni sa pag-irrigate sa water. Maybe the problem is there's no proper scheduling. There's a proper scheduling, but however, maybe the problem is how this scheduling is being done
Yes, sir.
or how this
Absolutely, sir.
scheduling is being implemented. Kailangan
Yes,
ni
sir.
sila schedule, dili mo gud pwede wala schedule ang pag-irrigate because daghan ang pa-compromise. Number one is the production process, no? So the problem is not the proper scheduling. Na ay proper scheduling sila kay they've been into the doing this one for how many years na good, di ba? So lang yung schedule. Ang problema lang is this kung unsaon pag-implement sa schedule. Tama ba ko? Did you get my
Sir.
point?
Yes, sir. We put a no proper scheduling, sir. It is because they've used a piece of paper like uh, the water the water master would jot down the list of the person who uh who asked or who set a schedule for irrigation. And for us, it could be uh, as I I've interviewed Mr. Rex Alboroto, and he said that um, for the he said that there was a time that the the farmers go to his home and set is a schedule of the water irrigation, but they've not a
So,
list to the
O see,
notebook.
so by
And also,
so okay, so that's your yes by that statement kasi there's schedule. That is schedule nga gi-implement, but however, the monitoring itself is it was not properly implemented. Maybe that's the problem. So kasi pag when we say no proper scheduling, meaning to say mas mo irrigate lang ko anytime I want. Anytime na gusto na ko mo irrigate, mo irrigate ko, which is as you mentioned earlier, there is a schedule. It needs to happen then that the schedule is not properly implemented
implemented. Yes,
or
sir.
it's not properly monitored.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And
so that's
that
the
was.
issue. No, that's
Yes,
not
sir.
the problem is not the proper scheduling per se. The problem is there's no proper monitoring of the schedule of the water irrigations. Okay, this is also the way how you develop the problem. It will somehow affect the people who work in the kanang sa kanang humayan ba sa DA. Eh, sila may mag-irrigate sa water, di ba? Meaning to say, wala din sila, wala din
Yes,
sila
sir.
hindi
And
ba nag-schedule? Pag ana.
yes, sir. And if you could ask, sir, if this sweep means small water impounding project, the association um, awarded by the DA, but now they've uh, they've they've rely to manage alone
This
uh,
irrigation.
this institution because it's awarded, sir. And that's why um,
And
they've request a fund if uh, there was a
Okay, so you are okay na. So that's not our issue, no? That's not our problem, eh. Kung asa gikan ang funding, segregation, or what, no? That's not our problem, okay? What we're trying to resolve here is kani inyong problem, okay? So kay taas na kayo yung explanations, eh, which is we are just wasting our time. So, ang sa to, do you have additional? Ito lang so
Ay, dili. This is
ito na akay. Sa problem number 1.
Kaya wala pa mong ay mura ka lang di pa na makapanap ang ground ng sa ilahang
Okay, ang ilang magmumurag
wala pa na nagtugig with ang
issue.
problema actually. No, sige, kasi araw na may nakaidong nga.
Okay, as based sa kong understanding man good is na siya murag irrigation but the problem is morning ko na siya
scheduling pero ganyan
Oh.
sige ni palakas ay ganit ibis kay ang isa
well, once
Pag
a proper
dapat na
Yes,
schedule,
ma'am,
pero
sir.
sa urgent
As we
lakas okay na una og cater niya pa tunawa na
so monitoring yun siya di siya mas schedule man gud siya pero dili siya monitor ba isa yun ang first isa ang second umana ni siya dapat kay na pud siya sunod
na yan ko man ay na ano
Okay. If that's the case, we're going to ask them ang area of responsibility.
how big
Area,
Yes, sir.
if we are going to ask you, what particular area are we talking about sa inyong sa inyong study? Is it going to be Compostela Valley Lagoon?
entire Compostela Valley or
Not no, ma'am. I mean
Ano
that,
sa location?
Nama may picture sa location no
yes, ma'am. We have,
ilang
ma'am.
hectares
asa dapit anya pila ka ang total area land area
55.
para ma-imagine na mo ba kung sa gigala ko ng iyang kuan
Okay, ma'am.
Ang mag-gather niya sa damam is 55 hectares.
But are you going to cover it all? I mean,
I mean,
your
ma'am,
subject of the study.
Ang na puro
in sweep 1 linuan, ma'am, it covers Purok 3 linuan and Purok 3A lang po.
Puro
And
tres
it's because the
and
Purok 3 and Purok 3A.
And how many hectares are we talking about?
As we've asked last night, Mr. Joel Bihara, he said that the association listed
Just tell directly how many hectares are we talking about?
55,
Purok
ma'am.
1 and
Yes, ma'am.
Purok
55 hectares, ma'am.
Purok 1 and Purok 3 has 55 hectares all in
Ma'am?
all.
Yes, ma'am.
Purok 1 and Purok 3 have 55
I mean, ma'am,
hectares.
Purok 3 and Purok 3A lang, ma'am.
pila ka tanan
Mo gani ba sa kanang duha ka hectares are we
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
about?
55, ma'am.
55 hectares.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many people are involved in the scheduling of irrigation sa kanila mga purok?
We couldn't done to us, ma'am, because Mr. Joel Bihara was the
Yeah. So how many people are we talking about in terms of doing the scheduling? Dili man yung about palakasay or something. We should not think about that directly, ha? Kasi we are kanang babayas na dayon ta eh. Babayas na dayon ta sa study na to ba? If we're going to say that na may palakasan system agad.
Yes, ma'am.
We have to deal with the problem objectively in a sense na alamin natin kung ano talaga yung scenario doon. Now, my question is, how many people are we talking about in terms of the scheduling? Pila ka po ang nag-schedule sa 55 hectares na inyong paan?
We could not get the exact date, exact amount of the people who listed, ma'am, because we forgot. But
Exact number of people.
yes, ma'am. But
So,
I guess, ma'am.
55 hectares
Yes,
na
ma'am.
covered, ma'am.
But I guess it would or 20
it's
plus.
gonna be
Yes,
part
ma'am.
of your
20 plus,
okay
ma'am.
ganito. It's gonna be part of your data gathering, ha? Kanang kasi pag sinabi natin no proper scheduling, tingnan natin kaano kalaki ba ang gina-schedule. Sino ba ang involved sa scheduling? Kasi kung 55 hectares, kaya nga nagtanong ako, gaano kalaki? Kasi kung ganoon kalaki, 55 hectares, isan lang ang nag-schedule, ay hindi talaga pwede yan. No, mabuang siya. So hindi natin pwede na ibato ka agad sa kanya na no proper scheduling. So Sige, how many people are involved? You have to ask that before we can really say that this is really a problem. Kasi baka sa 55 hectares, napulo ang tig-schedule, dili gid problem.
Ay, ay ma'am,
Naalam niyo sila, no,
yes
no, no.
ma'am.
Kanina
Wala,
ba?
yes
Tagaan ta
ma'am.
mong senaryo, Basta pag-implement. Diha ta ba? So, pag-reinforce sa ilahang scheduling. So, that's why, dili man mo makaingon sa amo o kinsa ang nag-schedule or pila ka buok, we cannot say that this is really a problem. Naka niya?
Um, we've asked Mr. Joel Bihara ma'am, and he said that kanang pangutanong na sa daw namo sila si Ma'am Feli, tas si Ma'am Feli ma'am is na mild stroke man siya ma'am. Das moto wala
Okay,
namin
okay. Sige,
nakadayon
I
og
get that.
pangutana
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah, yeah. I get that. We get that na. Ang ako alam point is you have to dig deeper pa sa kanina problem kasi we do not say directly na maonig yun ang problem. Kasi tama yung sabi ni Sir Hubert, baka sa pag-implement, okay? Baka hindi sa scheduling, baka napulo ang tag-schedule, pero ang pag-implementar ba?
Yes ma'am.
So, you dig
Um,
on that, no? You ask them, pila ba ang nag-schedule, ma'am? Kisa sa 55 hectares, sa Purok 1 o Purok 3, giun sa pag-schedule. Kinsa ang nag-schedule? Pila ka buok? Tapos sa pag-monitor sa scheduling, naabay, mahinana na mechanism. Okay? Anything about scheduling, you have to ask that. Who, what, why, when, where, ana yun, and how. Inig ka na mag-data gathering ganita kana yung 5 ka W's o isa ka H ang inyuhang tukion. Dili lang the what. Right? So medyo ano gid ang analysis sa IT no, inana gid ta mag-analyze kay dili ta pwede mo ingon na kana day ng problem. No, tapos mo kuan din ta na wala baka pala ka no. It should not be subjective in terms of your analysis. Klaro?
yes ma'am. Noted ma'am.
So, okay. I also have a question with regards to your questionnaire. My first question was it validated? Kasi dapat pag nagbibigay tayo ng survey questionnaire, it should be validated. Kasi validated, niagi siya o review, niagi siya o kanang murag komento sa isa ka body, o isa murag group of
Um,
experts, body, ana, or
um,
given siya sa isa ka cited na reference na inyong gikuha, pwede na siya. Tapos, who formulated the questions and where is it based? Kung sa source.
Some of our question in that questionnaire, ma'am, is come from other cited site, and also
Okay.
the other question is came from because I am a farmer in my father and I am a farmer because my parents is a farmer, so I know the problem and what is the common problems that encountered in the irrigation, ma'am.
and also ma'am, we've interviewed Mr. Joel Bihara, was the president of the Sweepwad Linuan po.
Okay, sige. We appreciated the fact that you are really the ones hands-on back na sa questions. Sa research lang kasi, pag naka-capstone tayo, hindi kasi pwedeng tayo-tayo lang. Naka niya. Maskin pag kamo ang pinaka-dulit, pinaka-concerned individual sa kana na sitwasyon, in research or in capstone projects like this, ang ato ang mga ginagamit na mga survey instruments or mga research questionnaires, dili lang siya just because kabalumi unsa ang question, ma'am. Dili inana. So when we do research, it should be validated kasi pwede tayong ma-plagiarize. Naka ninyo? And we do not want to let that happen to you and to Ma'am Claro, no? Kasi iba kasi ang tag nito, iba ang effect pag plagiarism ang kaso. So kaya nga, research din siya kasi we base it from other cited sources na. Kaya bang i-validate na din siya ng instrument. So, just provide us that. Wala namang problema sa questions ninyo. Wala man dyan na problema. Just provide us a valid source kung asa niya gikuha ang questions and it's asa siya na cited na source kung kay kinsa gikan. Ana siya ha. Dili kay
Yes, ma'am.
kay Juan de la Cruz lang kay feel na ko mangutana ana wala mo labot. Kay ako farmer ko, kabalo jud ko unsa ang naa dapat dili inana. But we appreciated na kamo gid mismo ang likuan sa study, na we just wanted to have the validated. Taman ina ha sa capstone o sa research dili ta pwede magpataka la gamit no
Yes po.
instrument.
Yes, ma'am. Noted,
All
ma'am.
right? So, duha na inyong assignment. Duha na no. Okay, so kato inyong initial gathering of data with Mr. Kisa ganito? Good na to siya.
Harold Pilara,
Baseline
ma'am po.
data to ninyo. Baseline data to ninyo. Magamit to ninyo siya plus the other respondents. You have to also limit pila ka respondents inyong kailangan for your result to be validated to. Klaro? Kay kung 5 lang na, napulo lang na, uy, masigamay ra kaayo, dili kay na nakabugat ang inyong pag-verify sa data. Okay? So, set lang, pila ka, kisa ba inyong tagaan ani na respondents. Get?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Additional, the reason why it need to be validated because there are questions kasi nagbalik-balik na lang bitaw. So, mo po na inyong take into consideration that there are questions na nagbalik-balik na that redundant na siya ba? And there are also questions na medyo mali when it comes to grammar bitaw. Which is that is one of the most important manggod ang the way how you deliver the question para masabtan sa mo answer. Di siya mali mo answer. And apoy question nga hindi siya pwede ma-answeran og yes or no based sa inyong pagpangutana. Kaya naman ko tayo question na open-ended o closed-ended. Magoy mga questions na gamitin nga closed-ended pero dili siya ma-answeran og yes or no, need of explanation. Mag-ana bitaw. So you have to be selective which of those questions is kanang yes or no lang ang answer. Oh, yes. Dapat, sige, naging na scale, like, agree, disagree. Ano, good? Hindi lang yes or no, kay, murag, as for me, if I'm going to answer your test questionnaire, dili ko satisfy. Okay, kaya yes or no lang man. Murag, saan yung pag-measure ba? Okay, so that's part also of the reason why, as mentioned by Ma'am Jeff, that your question to be validated by someone who is expert for this one or mag-cite mo. Okay? So, additional lang to siya.
Pakibalik na go flash sa inyong title.
This is the title, ma'am.
As ang ako nasabtan no sa inyong proposal, base lang sa pwede mo din siya mahimong capstone na siya sa IoT na field. Then you are answering a problem mang good na kanang makuan jud gani siya gani. Gani ko proof no na nag-exist jud siya na problem. However, cited sa mga other countries, we have to iron it out na dapat i-polish pa jud siya ang establishment of the problem. I just would like to suggest lang po sa inyong title, RiceSources, Mobile Irrigation System, no? Maybe ako na kung ano po, consider ba po ang panel na siguro maayos na in view of RiceSources, you may consider RiSys, meaning to say Rice Irrigation System,
Yes, ma'am.
RISYS, or,
Sources, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
oo,
Sources from the
or
main
Rayo,
the water, ma'am, that the rice um consumption for the
I
rice
mean,
consumption.
Ma'am Vera is talking about, yeah, the name of your system, name of your app.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
suggestion
kanang
siya.
unique name by unique name.
Instead the
RiceSources po, ma'am.
rice sources, you may consider RiSys,
Yes, ma'am.
RISYS,
Yes.
colon, then ang pangalan sa inyo kaan. Rice Irrigation System or Rayo.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
coin term sa rice o IoT. You may also consider that one. So, may ang sako ang mahinumduman no, the problems you have stated kay scheduling sa water, then monitoring
Yes,
sa
ma'am.
dam,
Yes, ma'am.
then ang equal distribution of water
Water,
supply.
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Oo. Ah, dili lang kayo dito specific kung asam apply ang web or mobile app, then asa po dito ma-apply ang IoT. So
Yes,
most
ma'am.
probably, sa scheduling, uh, you will consider sa mobile application, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
may have reconstruct your objective to develop a mobile application kanang specific siya pa na kuan siya ang kini siya na specific objective kay
Ang mutubag.
ang mutubag ato kay ang mobile application. Then
Yes,
ang
ma'am.
kining si monitoring o sa equal distribution mo na to na ay application sa IoT. Kayo murag sa inyong objective, you haven't mentioned asa dito ma-apply ang si IoT pod. Oh, then naapoy comment si Ma'am Shannon na mao ba jud to ang inyong problem na kuan kay wala pa kayo na establish pod. So if ever
Ang first problem lang actually ako ang issue. Ang second problem, pwede kasi na monitor ang water level sa dam. Kaya mo man na ang sa irrigation.
Ang third is the effect mo dito sa number one.
So, ang first problem, di ko kabalo, mo ba gid ang problem? Ang proper scheduling. Monitoring na lang. Kasi
Yes, ma'am.
magbabasid ang monitoring ba?
For monitoring, ma'am, we've used a ultrasonic sensor po as IoT.
An IoT device, ma'am.
Kinaka ang schedule.
And also for the rice flow rate po, ma'am, is we've used a flow rate sensor po
para sa monitoring or sa equal distribution.
sa equal distribution of water po, ma'am.
Oo, so murag na ato yung mga channels dito no na dapat mo auto shut off kay kung
Yes, ma'am.
We use
Absolutely,
a
ma'am.
servo motor, ma'am.
Yes,
It is
ma'am,
an
servo
IoT
motor.
device, ma'am, that can control by the application.
The close and open of the gateway of the water po, ma'am.
pila dito kay hektarya inyo hanggang consider
It could take 55 hectares po, ma'am.
Then so sa 55 hectares na mo'y diagram niya or vicinity map asa dapit ang
Yes po,
mga
ma'am. Absolutely, ma'am. We make two block for the implementation as we wanted to implement the miniature, and it is because for constraint of the financial capability. We've used 4 servo motor as the one is the for the main gate, and the 3 was in the right block or the or the right fields and the rice fields, and the other is there in the left, and also in there's a block corresponding, ma'am, that open
how will you
close.
how will you ensure the equal distribution?
Ma'am,
Sige daw.
ma'am, by using the flow rate sensor po, ma'am, in the mouth of the main gateway of the water, ma'am, it goes in, and if the water out, it has a data set, the corresponding number to output what was the uh
Required
yes
water
the
to irrigate the rice fields, ma'am.
yes ma'am. And
Okay, pag-monitor lang to siya sa outflow sa tubig, no?
yes
Ang
ma'am,
volume,
absolutely
ang
the outflow
imuhang
po ma'am.
ginamot pasabot.
Yes ma'am, the
Pero
rate.
kung tahay, di ba isa naman ang source?
Yes
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, isa lang, ma'am.
Oh, so unsaon man to siya gikan sa source padulong sa mga kuana, mao ni siya ang mga amount of or volume of water na dapat ma-distribute sa mga areas.
Yes ma'am,
Oh,
the measurement of that ma'am is you should make four servo. It is because four flow meter sensor to go to the servo to open up. And in our miniature, we've designed one only because of the constraint that we've taken about that with financial insufficient. So that's why
pero
we
pero unsaon ninyo na ma-equal distributed siya kung unsaon niyo pagkabalo na mao ni ang amount na dapat mapadulong
I
ani specific
yes ma'am.
area.
By the use of application po ma'am, the application would send to the Arduino or by the use of relay, and it could be by the use of NUDIMC or HC5, the Wi-Fi connectivity go to the we've used the Android framework which name MIT to connect the device. And the corresponding, and as you can see, so easy ma'am, in our prototype po ma'am. Yes ma'am, mag-listen me explain po ma'am.
Prototype o para makita. Oh, sige daw. Ikaw ang niyo ang prototype.
Prototype ninyo
Yes
to
ma'am.
farm ka.
Ay
Ay ilang plano ba kung unsa kon kay ako sa dili sa nang picture out. Gusto na mong
Okay po, ay sige, ibalik sa part.
Ayun.
Diretso, sige sige.
Ang ilang ano. Itong makita na nako ang mga tools na gamitin para anak ba. Pada ka daw na siya. Para na idako.
Yes, ma'am. Balik sa lang.
Ano ko noy ang dam.
So this is the our miniature, ma'am. So in the main gate, we installed a servo motor to
Main
open the close the gate, and we use a
flow
flow
rate
rate
sensor,
sensor to measure the water level,
the outflow po ma'am. This
ay
was
the water
this
measuring.
yes ma'am. This flow rate sensor, the device to measure or to ma'am.
So, ang device, no, kay igo naman na siya mo capture
Yes
sa,
ma'am.
oo. Pero, kung saan mo pagkabalo na, ang padulong dito sa survey motor is ani lang na volume para ma-equal ang mga distribution.
As you can see ma'am, there is a gateway or kani ba?
O, kung saan na mo siya i-close na dili na siya mo auto shut off na siya.
By using the application ma'am,
By
there
using
are a four,
application, ma'am.
yes ma'am, there are a four function for the servo motor po ma'am. Servo
Oh,
motor
unsa may indicator na mo shut off na siya.
By calculating the area of the rice farm of the farmers to irrigate, ma'am, we use a flow rate sensor to what is the required amount of
yes ma'am,
water
the,
to
the
be
exact amount that
filled,
the
ma'am, in
outflow.
that rice area, ma'am.
Okay, mao na ko ang ginahulat na tubag na
Yes, ma'am.
magbase jud sa area. Dili kay magpuro lang ta sa sensor no na ang sensor man kun iko na jud na siya jud mo capture sa unsay na sense niya either flow rate ba or kuan. So naa jud mo jud yung mga calculations na dapat buhaton para ma-respond na ning equal distribution. So magbase jud siya jud sa area, di ba? Then
Maoff ng ni sama kay kami nga.
so, i-provide niyo po na magpaano dyan siya, naay mga calculations, then based on the calculations, sige na, they are requesting for the algorithm.
Based in our app, ma'am, is
Ano sila?
we have an application to calculate, ma'am. So for 1 hectare, it is equivalent to water flow rate output to To,
2,641,920.
it is the sample, ma'am, for 1 hectares.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is for
The the outflow of the water po,
Ito,
ma'am.
to
unsay
the
algorithm daw?
Ma'am, pardon, ma'am.
Unsay gamito na algorithm?
By the use of this, ma'am, we've used the algorithm that can um, that can get the amount of the water,
Unsay ni pangalan?
ma'am.
Unsay pangalan? Unsay pangalan daw sa algorithm na gamiton?
Um,
Sige
we've
lang.
searched, ma'am. They've used a GNN. Yes, ma'am.
Sige. Kana medyo lisod pa na siya karon no sa inyong
Yes, ma'am.
part of the study. We do not actually require agad-agad that you will use this kind of algorithm kasi along the way with your study, baka identify ra gid mo ana ang best algorithm for your app. Ang worry lang talaga namin, no? Hindi naman sa inyo na worry. We really acknowledge your capability to do the app, and we know that you are very excited to do it. Kay kaganiha wala naging we will, no, wala naging ang will ana naging mo ba we use the wala na mag will ani, so murag na-implement naman yun siguro nila. Murag inyoha na lang kay iko na lang gid ninyo i-present sa amo murag ana ba, so you're very excited actually to
Yes, ma'am.
propose the app, and we are also excited to have it seen in the final round, no. Ang ano lang namin dito is baka marami kasi tayo masyadong ina-identify na problems, and with the scope of time that you have for capstone, we are just worried baka hindi ninyo makamit lahat. So we would just like to suggest, especially in your scope and limitation, no, you really have to prioritize kung saan ninyo gusto sa tubagon. Kasi masyadong malaki yung gusto nating gawin na system. And in your duration and the resources that you will have as students, no, we also acknowledge that, no, dili pud pwede na ipa-require gid mo na mo tanan og ginani ka dakong gasto. So we acknowledge that. Ang amin lang is just prioritize ano ang gusto nyong i-prio. Naka ninyo?
Yes po, ma'am.
Kasi maganda yung proposal, maganda ang study. We're also excited to see this. We just wanted na maprayo ninyo ang ano talaga ang priority doon. Yes? So the baseline data, dako kay na siya tabang sa inyo. When I say baseline data, yun bang ano ba talaga ang gusto nilang mangyari sa system? And based on that data, makabalo na mo kung sige i-prioritize. Gets?
Yes po, ma'am.
So, at least you just have a picture when we saw your prototype. Maganda naman, no? Yung options ng paano kanina, how to auto shut off. Paano ninyo ma-shut off yan? Dili ba pare-pareho ang need sa matagbasakan? No?
Yes,
Kaya
ma'am.
kasi sobra na kaayo ang medyo tubigon po di siya na
Yes,
part.
ma'am.
Tagaan o daghang king tubig.
Yes, ma'am. Kasagaran sa ma'am, sa
Unless siya. So take note of that. So ano ba talaga ang priority natin? Baka masyadong malaki si irrigation. We just have to chop that para matulungan lang din natin yung malimit natin yung study. Alright? Okay, in research naman, you don't have to study it all. You don't have to solve it all. Dili man ta mga hero. Ang inyoha lang is do what is practical and what is prioritized dapat and according to your duration and resources. Yes? Okay lang ta, dili ta mga suko na ay ma'am dili gyud mi gusto ma'am, gusto gyud namo tanan. Ila na. Kasi kasi gusto din yung tanan ba? Itatabanga ilang tayo. Tabanga ilang. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I have no further time.
So,
Ang kapag hindi
I can proceed now.
ako
Sige, let's
kuha na lang. Mga brand lang isda katong si
So katulong na siya, as mentioned by Ma'am Amante, you focus
okay ang title.
you
pero
focus on unsa you need, no? Sa irrigation, so do not cover everything, kay maglisod mo anak, no? So katulong yung needed for the irrigation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, sa itong mga na-identify, katong number, let's have a recap of what we have. Kailan ko discuss ka?
Recorded naman.
Recorded. I want to get recorded.
Record sana sa...
So, sorry.
Record na siya doon.
Recording man.
Sorry, hatag na ni sa ilahang.
May hatag na sila. Okay. Ano, na okay na niyo ang title. Okay, man ninyo na
Pwede
siya.
sa study na.
The study is
The study is good.
Okay.
Sige, so
we are looking
congrats.
forward.
Congrats, thank you.
We are looking
And
forward
Salamat na. Good evening to all.
for this endeavor.
alam wala dyan, naka-istorya si Kuan.
Sa mga stories, sino mga storya?
Sino ba kayo?
Julie.
Si Joylene.
Kung ba sila kayo gusto yung istorya, Julie?
Wala na, ma'am.
Yan ang tungusgo.
Yeah, matulog ni.
Sige.
Compensation, ma'am.
A little, ano daw sa inyong scope? Basig, wala lang namo na nabasa dayon ba? Pero naala dayon yung kuan sa scope. Sige, ta.
Sige, Julie. Asam tayo mong ko.
Dagan timignaw sa inyong screen.
Unsa ni
Wala,
mga
ito yung bato kailangan kuwan sa soil pH nila. Gani buang manimamata pili. Ako
Ano lang, Joy, very brief, ano lang, discussion of the scope. Kasi naalam ni Ala ba?
The admin and use the RiceSources app as well as log in and log out. Only water master can only use it. And the admin will be able to set at times scheduling for watering rice plant. Admin na dyan, mama, pwede maka-schedule ani for farmers.
Alright. Sige, so, okay. So, sige, we can read it here no, from our end. What you did was actually the features of your proposed system. Again, ang scope natin is the boundaries of your scope and limitation, the boundaries of your study. Meaning, the study is a mobile-based, will be deployed in a mobile-based platform. Pwede na siya, no? That's a scope. And it's gonna be covering Purok 1. Sa to? Purok 1, Purok 3A, and ana, no? And this much of the hectares, mura ginana. Then sunod, the proponents will also be creating only. Pag may na ganun only, mo na inyong limitation. Okay? The proponents will only be creating a miniature prototype design of the ana-ana siya. And it's gonna be using this kind of platform. So, inana lang ang scope limitation. Ayaw ang iyang features. Sige. So, ito lang no. You can view naman or you can have the recording naman of our comments. So, i-ask na lang sino ba ang magbigay? Sa imo ha man ni Verno? Ang recording, ihatag lang ni Ma'am Vera kay Ma'am Janet. Ma'am Janet will be the one to give it to me. Alright?
So I think we're good, no? Do you have any clarifications or questions before we end defense, the presentation rather, your presentation rather?
Any questions?
One last question. What is the motivation of the study? Yan ang nag-motivate mo ani na study?
Particularly, ma'am, we motivate about the hard work of the rice farmers in our area, and it's because this is the rice the rice the rice farmers
And it will big help to the farmers
Farmers
to
input.
automate
or
their
adapting
irrigation for adapting the
Ano
modern day of irrigation.
mo?
So because the farmers the the major
The main
Katong sa mga ay ito sa katong research congress.
siguro the main na maka
Right. So because you are really very enthusiastic and very much aligned to the farming.
because here in Davao de Oro is most people is here is the work is the farming, ma'am.
Farming industry talaga, no? Sa agriculture. Right? So sige, padayon ta ana and just take into consideration our comments. Alright?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Sige. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we end na, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir,
Bye, sir.
Ma'am Janet. Sa mo daw? For consideration mo daw? Bagsak?
But,
Wala man.
Yung masig padayo.
pero magkanda kay dag kontrang kuan.
Ino ba? Bagsak? Ino sa mga bagsak? Ino ba? Bagsak? Bagsak to, feel na ko ba balik ta?
Dili. Balik lang yung dyan ano.
Nama,
Sa problem ba? Sa problem na mag-ano. No?
Ama kaya masig mo kumay.
Sayang sa kalibo.
Lumot ko tong sip kumay.
ilog sa naman kuan mo.
Ay, gabi ka nga. Okay ka to, Bart? Ito ka? Grabe isingot mo kanino, bay?
Kasi yun nila.
Bagsak. Kasi consideration. Naging nga niya. So ma-consider, so it means pasar.
Pastor, Roy, kay...
Panayin mo daw
Bro,
eh.
mo niya itong title. Alam mo, next title ba ito? Basta lang, tarungon atong kuan. Paminawan na ito itong...
Ako katamo sa itong problema, mo kita itong i-idem.
Good.
Pero, kay suggestion sa itong kuan, dapat mabuhat yun na nato.
Pila
Kay,
jud.
Lumot ko tong sip on.
Ano ito mag-expect ko eh, basig mo ganito karoon kuan, balikon tag kuan.
Ang tagdipin mo.
national na po naman.
Ano mo? Tapos ako sab. Ay, pwede chat kami mo.
Ako
Sama
na
ito
ito dito eh.
Nga nagaw gabi, lagi mo pangayo pero pa bro magtawag pangayo mo sa mga kot.
Wala, di mo gud mato sa tipili ba eh. Sakit ba ito? Atuon gito na ako. Kuan.
Pila hindi mo cover sa schedule ni ay. Pila ka ba?
Daghan.
Kapataw ko na yun.
Siya kuan.
Tuwan.
Sampor,
Dili,
to.
sir ko to.
Inar bro gusto na mo 55 hectares.
Sample lang na to nga duha lang
Ay,
kabuok kay magay natin constraint nga di na to
Butang na nato sa limitation part.
Oh, nga apat lang ang gihimo kay
Mo din na di ay.
mo magud gisunod ba nato to sa ato ang limitation sa atong
Sure,
system
mo.
niya
Yan, ilahan ni booster.
mas technical don nila karon ila kuan gapon gani mo pagka na presentaro nga kita gapon tarong-tarong gyud atong gi-present na tos ta mga kita
Nalibog sila sa
Ano tag sa atong algorithm. Tama ba to GNN?
tama din to part geographic neural network na utaw pa na
Ganga ay.
Wala ka to vehicle kay
hindi na mo ito muli no
process kuan
Meeting.
project.
may nakadisturbo
Napag
pa din
kuan ko ko.
matulog din ko
Lahat.
matulog ba
Taon.
Maday.
Ato ka.
ha
Maday.
Kung ato ka
Ano
mapit
na
ako.
mag-imin?
Kung ato ka mapit ako.
hindi tingog ka may bagong ni kuan na madi si kuan no
Salamat na
So kayo may mo man dire.
Naasa naman kong isko. Uy, nawa naman. Ambot na siya. Ano ka pag-ibig man?
Oo, pwede. Ano ito?
Ay, wala din yung na-off. Stop ni mo part.